Well, hi everybody. This is Roger in Kansas City, and today we are visiting Egypt. Specifically, we're going to visit the Sphinx, and here's a picture of the Sphinx. Now, I have never made a video about anything in Egypt before because I pretty much thought everything's been covered. Well, to my surprise, it has not. And we're going to look at some of the things that I personally believe have been missed by some other people. So here's our Sphinx, and in the front of the Sphinx, between his paws, there's this big tablet right here. That is called the Sphinx Dream Stele. Let's take a closer look at the Dream Stele, shall we? Now here we have a close-up of the Dream Stele. A brief history. King Tutmosis, back when he was a prince, he was out hunting, and he went to sleep underneath the Sphinx. Now the Sphinx was mainly covered up with sand at the time, and you could only see its head. So while he was asleep, he had a dream. And in the dream, the sun god, Amun-Ra, told him, "If you remove all the sand from around the Sphinx, I will make you king of Upper and Lower Egypt." Making a long story short, Tutmosis did that and became King Tutmosis and lived happily ever after. So there's a story on that. And I want you to look at the carvings on this. How it's rounded up here. We have this, I guess this is the sun god up symbol. And we have these wings. These are called cartouches, these little oval things. And here we have the profile of the Sphinx and profiles of Egyptian guys over here. And this gridded area as well. Beneath it are more hieroglyphics about halfway down on the tablet, then everything else has been destroyed. So this is the relevant part of the Dream Stele. Here we are with a bunch of folks visiting the Sphinx, and down here in the middle is the Dream Stele. Everyone's posing for the picture. We have this fellow right here in front. He looks like he's happy to be there. But I would like to direct your attention at the Dream Stele and what's on top of it. It's covered in a blanket or 2 or 3 blankets, and it's being weighted down with some rocks on top. Let's take a closer look at that picture. After looking at this picture for some time, it occurred to me, why is this tablet covered up? We know what the Dream Stele looks like, or we're supposed to know. And if you were posing next to it, wouldn't you want to have this super cool hieroglyphic in your picture? But for some reason, it's been rather intentionally covered up. That sent me to a looking for other older pictures that might show what's on this tablet. So I hit the Dream Stele jackpot when I found this picture at the New York Public Library digital collections. You can tell it's an older photograph because the sand is still covering up most of the Sphinx and the Dream Stele. The site also has this super enlargement capability down here. So I was able to make some very good enlargements of the Dream Stele. Let's go ahead and compare the enlargement of this Dream Stele photo with the Dream Stele that is currently in place today. Here's our first comparison between the two Dream Steles. The one on the left being current day, the one on the right obviously being taken from the photograph. I just want to point out the one on the right isn't going to be as crystal clear as the one on the left because it was never meant to be seen, number one, and it's a 100 plus year old picture taken with antiquated equipment. But I think you'll be able to see that we brought out enough in this photograph. You'll be able to notice some immediate differences. But if you haven't noticed, let me point out a few, and we'll take a look at a few more close-ups on the Dream Steles. So here we are. One on the right, this man here, he's standing there. He's got this headdress on. He's holding a bowl, and he's holding something here. He has his Egyptian clothing on, and there's his legs. Let's go over here. Now this guy has maybe some sort of headdress, maybe, but that doesn't look anything remotely like that. You see the curve, and there's no curve there. You can almost see like a little eyeball right there. Now, this is a significant difference. His arm is going down this direction. In the current day picture, his left arm is going out in front of him holding a bowl. That is not in this picture. Okay. And let's just go over here for a moment, where we have one Egyptian man in a headdress, and this is a jar that he's holding. Well, we have an Egyptian man, or I'm supposing he's Egyptian, but it doesn't look much quite like this guy, but that's forgivable because of maybe some distortion in the picture. But he is not holding a jar in this older photograph. And there apparently is another person behind him. And if you look over here, you can kind of see the outline where he was. But he's not there anymore. They've chiseled him out. These cartouches going down the center. There are no cartouches going down the center here. And again, we'll look at a few more pictures. This is just an overall photo. We have this, it looks like a face, but not a human face. And there's quite a few non-human faces on this older photo of the Dream Stele. You can see on the current day, I called these wings earlier. They may be sunbeams or rays, whatever they are, wings or rays. But we only have a few what appears to be like these wing-shaped things over here, but nothing else like that across the top. You can see that this is about the same on each side of this oval. Well, there's no oval here, and it is not the same shape on each side. Okay, let's go to another photo. In this next comparison, we have the two Dream Steles. And I just naturally said that because they are very different. Let's go ahead and bring this guy up. You can see where I pointed out in the first picture, we have this oval right here with these two proportionately sized carvings on each side of it. You can see that that's not the case there, and you can see that it's completely different. And I'm thinking you may be able to see that there's a number of faces all throughout here, and they're not human faces. There may be a few, but it is rife with small carvings. And there's no cartouches along here at all. Let's bring it on down. Bring this up some. Now here's our guy again with a different arm. Here's our guy again with no jar, as you can see there. I have some close-ups of this, but those are not sphinxes. In fact, it's like 2 or 3 smaller carvings within this sphinx-shaped area on each side. Where the haunches are, over here, of the lion, this appears to be a person that's kneeling and kind of bending forward with their arms forward, with something in front. I can't quite make it out. And again, someone either in a kneeling or bending position. There's their arm, there's their leg, there's their head in front of something. I have more close-ups. I'm not going to just drown you in close-ups, but you'll see that I think we have a very different photograph here. When I say photograph, we have a very different Dream Stele from the original to what's there now. Let me digress here for a bit. It's really boggled my mind. Did they recarve this? Did they just go over it and kind of cut out what they didn't like and add what they wanted? Or did they replace the entire thing with something that was kind of sort of similar? I don't know. But you'll be able to see in more pictures that this is completely different. This is the Dream Stele from the old photograph. It's the top left corner. Here you can see where currently there is one individual. There are two. And we have these non-human faces here and pretty much throughout. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. We'll see how that comes out. We'll take it down a notch. Okay, let's move on. Here is the lower left of the old picture. On the current day Dream Stele, this is all hieroglyphics from about here down. These are not hieroglyphics. And can you see what they are? I'm going to enlarge this a little. But these are all figures, like tiny little entity figures. They're not human. And that's really the case. Look at this guy here. Is that a guy? Or maybe that's his head and arm, or is that a face? I don't know. But it's not a hieroglyphic. It's not what we would consider your traditional Egyptian hieroglyphic. A little bit bigger. Yeah. See that guy? There's his arm. It looks like he's yelling at somebody. Bring it down some. Here's the lower right of the old photograph. A little bigger. And at the foot of the person on the right, we have what appears to be some small creatures. Like here's his eyes here. Looks like his body. And maybe a couple of little friends all along here. Make it a little bit bigger. So there it is, about a 140-year-old picture has some details that I don't believe anybody thought would ever get out. You know, I don't like using the word proof. I use evidence more often. But seeing I don't have a time machine, I'm going to say this is as close as I have ever gotten to proof that something is going on. That this has been changed. This was there, and what is there now is not the same as what was there at least 140 years ago. I enjoyed making this video, even though it caused me great grief in making it. It was a very difficult video to make, but I really think it's an important video, and I hope you like it. Please like it. It's the only way we can keep this out there. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope you subscribe, because it helps keep the videos out there. Did you see this? Did I point this last thing out here? Hang on. You see the guy that looks like a king here in the middle? I'll make it a little bit bigger. But yeah, those are not cartouches. That little, I don't think he's an alien. I just think he is a pre-human. And I've seen guys that look like him before. Instinctively, intuitionally, I think they're still around. And I think they're a lot smarter than us, on average. That's just my opinion. All of this is my opinion. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I hope you're having a nice day. It's like 1 degree here in KC Mo, and I'll get over it. Thank you for watching, and I'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye! I want my mummy.